The first impressions of a game is very important. Just like this video, in the first few seconds, I need to find a way to captivate you to continue watching the video. And for a video game, it takes maybe the first few minutes, if not up to an hour, to determine whether you will continue playing the game or quit the game instantly. The game we're talking about today is Rivers 1999. The game has been out for a few weeks and I would say that it's garnered quite a bit of good attention, where I do see quite a lot of people loving the game. Even just as I was buying dinner today, there happened to be someone right beside me in queue playing the game right in front of me, which I was very surprised because as an Arknights content creator, most of you know me as that, I have never seen anyone suddenly beside me playing Arknights, and yet I have to chance upon someone playing Rivers 1999. So, this video will cover 4 major elements of this game that you will instantly see right when you join. We're going to talk about the story, the music, the gacha, and the gameplay. If you ask any players of Rivers 1999, they'll tell you that stories is one of the best features of the game, and it's a bit of a no-brainer. There are very obvious things that make the story wonderful. I'm not going to of course tell you guys the plot of the story, but I'll tell you the elements that makes it so attractive. Number 1, you are immediately presented the story right when you join the game. As much as you can skip the story, the game does make it a little bit trickier for you to do that for the fact that there is actually voice acting over all of the lines, which you do see that in certain games like maybe AAA titles, story-based games, and some gacha games, but for a lot of other gacha games, they don't necessarily have this storytelling element of everything being voice acted. And with Reverse doing that with wonderful English voice actors across the board, I would say that it definitely got me interested. And the game does present itself as a very mysterious environment. At first you join the game, you're wondering why does it state a year like 1999, but after a while you get the understanding that you're traveling back in time to fix certain parts of history. And this game does take elements of real events that happened in history before, which for people who maybe never cared about history like me, I was not a history student and I don't necessarily dig myself into that unless they happen in my YouTube videos. Those things, the game on the other hand, makes it very easy for you to learn together with it, and the characters are just all very fun. There's a lot of iconic moments, funny lines, and at the same time there's parts where it can get a little bit more emotional. I've not exactly cried to the game all that much yet, but I would say the journey, the adventure that it takes you in is super fun. The second element to this is music, and I'm going to lump it together with sounds or voice acting. So this part we focus more on the listening experience of the game. Now music is something that you will listen to when you play the stages, when you do the story, and this game does take a similar stance to other gacha games, where whenever a new character or event is released, they will also put out a new EP to celebrate the occasion basically. Which I think is a very brilliant take. It makes the game very fun, very celebratory, and it kind of unites people together because as we see in other gacha games, when you release so much music, that is one of the easiest way to draw people into the game. And as mentioned, this game takes place in a historical context. When you meet all the different characters and you listen to these music as well, you will notice that there are very distinct features that is supposed to mimic the countries that these characters belong in. As you get your characters, you will realize that some of them have very distinct accents.
Good day, my lord. You're too kind visiting me, and I regret to receive you in a room of nothing.
I'm not good at dealing with visitors. It reminds me of something bad.
They maybe speak in a French tone, Italian, German, American, Chinese, and there's all sorts of funkier ones. There is even a character that speaks in hexadecimals, by the way.
4A757374. 63616C6C,
which is pretty cool for anyone who's very nerdish. I thought it was just a very fun feature. And at the same time, there's also another character that speaks in like a Girl Scout voice, which is so odd. You don't really see this kind of creative direction in any game, really. And to see Rivers 1999 doing this, I just find it very cutesy. It's very humorous to see this kind of stance that the developers chose. So, in terms of the sound direction, I do think this game has done something that is very unique and is also one of the bigger reasons why people can be drawn into the game. Now the third portion of the video is the gacha. After all, it's a gacha game, so we of course have to mention about the gacha. This part of the video is where I feel it might make or break whether or not you want to try the game. To make it a bit more familiar, the gacha system is very similar to Genshin, whereby if you don't get the 6-star unit, which they call Arcanist, on the banner, then the next 6-star unit, the highest rarity unit by the way, is going to be a guaranteed featured person. So this system is definitely more enjoyable for some people because you might feel that you have more control over what you can pull for, what you might be saving for. And as compared to other games where you don't have that kind of spark system or guaranteed system, I think Reverse has done a bit of a good job to implement this. And at the same time, when we talk about gacha, you also have to mention the rates of the unit. So for a 6-star unit, which is mostly implied as the strongest people in the game, the 6-star units have a 1.5% chance of appearing. And then for the 5-star unit, they have a 8.5% chance. The game does have a pity system, whereby if you don't get the 6-star after 60 pulls, then the chance will increase from 1.5% to 4%, and subsequently every of it will increase by 2%. But if you still don't get the 6-star unit by 70 pulls, then you are guaranteed to get the 6-star in the 70th pull. So as mentioned again, this gives you more gacha control. But when we talk about control, some people get very concerned about how easy it is for you to save the pooling currency in order to prepare for future banners. To answer that, this game does have a lot of free features for you to get the pools that you want. You can get them through the story, the events that you can play. At the same time, there's also quests, daily ones and weekly ones, as well as a battle pass system. So this game encourages playtime by making you complete a bunch of weekly tasks, and when you collect all of those points, you can basically get the rewards in the battle pass. You will notice that the battle pass have a free system and also a premium battle pass, and that is of course where you can obtain even more pools. So this game does have quite a bit of paid features in order to obtain a whole lot more pools. Again, very similar to certain other gacha games that you might have witnessed before. But in terms of the rate of getting free pools, I wouldn't describe it as very fast. I think this is kind of like a normal-ish pace of a gacha game, but depending on what you prefer, some of you might find this as very, very slow, while others are pretty okay with it. So this is kind of the reason why I say that gacha is both a very, very good thing and can also be a bit of a drawback. But if you're someone who's not too concerned about getting specific characters, you can have the guarantee that the 3-star, 4-star, or the 5-star that you get in the game can still be very functional. Just like any of the other games that you have played before, as long as you know how to use that unit properly, you learn their abilities, you can make them work in whatever stages that you play. And that goes into the next part, which is the gameplay. So when talking about the gameplay, the premise of this game is turn-based RPG. And I have to say, turn-based RPG games are a bit of a turn-off for me. It's one of my less liked genres, but there are portions of this game that makes me very impressed with the turn-based RPG feature. Which, for instance, usually in those type of games, it's all about just click the skill, attack, go, use the skill, poof, defense, and everything like that. But I think what makes this game so cool is the fact that they don't just make it a click-based game, but they also allow you to merge your cards, your abilities, to make it even stronger to go against the enemies. So with a bit of that matching feature and the idea where moving certain cards takes turns, I think this is something that I don't really experience as much in other games, and that's what made me more intrigued about Reverse 1999. I definitely do enjoy that sort of innovative feature, but then there is also another thing that I'm a bit less of a fan of, which is the whole element-based gameplay, where basically like a lot of other games, water beats fire, fire beats plant, that sort of thing, you will see that in Reverse 1999. And as far as I don't like it, it's something that I kind of grow accustomed to, and I just make it integrated to the gameplay such that I think a lot about it when strategizing what to do in the different stages. So those sort of things, if you like that kind of challenge where you need to focus on knowing your operator's ability, what order of actions is really the best move to take, and also taking note of the weaknesses and strengths of the enemies, that kind of game is definitely going to be meant for you. So with all of these said, I've mentioned about the 4 major big features that you see when you play Reverse 1999. I do want to give one more big screen time, which is of course for the characters. The characters of this game, I wouldn't call them like jaw-droppingly beautiful kind of thing. I just find these characters full of personality, which is the thing that makes me so I like Reverse 1999. Like, I really love the fact that it's so unusual of a game, and it's just a daring move. That unusualness makes the game just so good looking, and that is kind of a big thing that I hope that you guys get to take away. That if you haven't tried Reverse 1999 yet, I highly recommend you to do so. Head down to the YouTube description, there is a download link right over there for you to straight away try Reverse 1999 on your phone or your PC. And with that, I hope that I've given you guys some great, honest first impressions. Hope you have enjoyed the video, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care everyone, bye bye.